Jame Gunn responds to Variety's report about the DCU Batman, and Patty Jenkins sets the record straight about leaving Wonder Woman. But before we get into all the big happenings today, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos.
Ah, the best geek news.
Hello everyone, thanks for joining us on Hump Day.
Is that still a thing?
Sources for Variety have reported Jame Gunn and Peter Safran are exploring the idea of blending Robert Pattinson's version of Batman into the wider DC universe to be their official Batman.
Holy hostage, don't let him do it, Batman!
And personally, I would prefer they keep Rob's Batman universe its own thing. And that's not to say the DCU can't also have a Batman, but if there's any comic book character who audiences will support multiple versions of, it's Batman.
Well, what about the Spider-Man?
Not that we have to speculate for very long, as Jame Gunn has already responded to the report on Twitter himself and said this story is, quote, entirely untrue. You guys gotta stop making stuff up with James around, he'll shut it down.
This is not how this was supposed to go!
Patty Jenkins also took to Twitter last night to offer her versions of events lately when it came to her removal from Wonder Woman 3, claiming that she didn't leave, but rather the studio was moving in a different direction with the character. In addition to this, Jame Gunn also responded to her there and said his interactions with her were always pleasant and professional.
It's really nice to hear.
We also got some killer trailers today, the first of which being Scream 6, which will move the setting from Woodsboro to New York City as a new Ghostface track down the survivors from Part 5. The more exciting trailer, not that anyone asked me,
I mean, nobody's asked you?
is 65, starring Adam Driver and brought to you by the guys who wrote A Quiet Place about a space traveler who crash lands on a habitable planet that turns out to be Earth 65 million years ago, hence the title. So this is probably our ancestor, and hopefully he's the guy responsible for wiping out all the dinosaurs. Who needs a meteor when you got a guy who can just Ripley them all to death?
How do you feel about that?
And that's that for Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow, but in the meantime, leave a comment and tell us who you think the DCU Batman should be. All of the stories in this video came from articles written on ComicBook.com, so if you'd like to read more about some of today's news with your own eyeballs, feel free to head over to ComicBook.com, where we work 24/7 to keep you up to speed on all the latest. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff, all of which are linked below. If you're someone who likes listening to other people argue for hours on end about this sort of stuff, we've got you covered there as well with Comic Book Nation, hosted by Kofi Outlaw every Friday, or our Marvel-focused podcast hosted by my best frenemy Brandon Davis now on Thursdays. If you want some behind-the-scenes antics or previews of my cosplay, or you want to know what it's like to live on a spaceship for months at a time with no genuine human interaction, find me on Instagram at CKComedy or Twitter at Chris Killian, all linked below.